在之前的单元，我们分享了很多如何回应对方的 interruption。但如果你是旁观者，要怎么帮助演讲者能够继续他的话题，找回原本的主题呢？ Let's have a listen. Hello, 欢迎来到 Executive Plus 主管与沟通力的 Podcast. I'm Sherry, an educator, certified coach, and style enthusiast.我相信专业有效的沟通是语言跟逻辑的完美结合。
And I'm Nick, a startup consultant, corporate trainer, and late-night gaming junkie. I believe great communication requires the right mindset and solid frameworks.
我们希望带给大家职场英语的技能、跨文化沟通技巧与其他能帮助您成为出色领导者的工具。
Join us each week as we share our experience, research, and methodologies to take your communication and language skills from good to great. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Executive Plus podcast. We've all had that moment where someone was talking and either another person rudely interrupted them, or perhaps the person just got distracted and lost their train of thought. As a bystander, it's always useful to help people get back to where they were. And today we want to talk about a few useful ways that if someone has lost their train of thought or been interrupted, you can bring them back to the main conversation.
在很多之前的单元，我们讲了要怎么样帮助自己能够 get back on track， 或者是如何对抗人家的这种 interruption， 不管是很 rude 的 interruption， 或者人家只是无心的 interruption 也好。但是今天呢，我们想要来探讨如何你帮助别人在被 interrupted 之后呢，能够回到他原本的话题。So let's take a look at the first one. It's pretty easy.All you have to say is, so what happened after?
Right. In the case of someone was telling a story and the story stopped in the middle of a potential climax, or maybe they were making a list of a few things, this is a great phrase just to get them going again. You can just use the phrase, so what happened after the. And this is important because you're going to recap what they were talking about.
Yeah.
If you just said, oh, what happened next? And they forgot what they were talking about, then they don't know what they said before. They can't help with next. But if you're very specific and it's like, so what happened after your boss walked into the room?
Yeah, again, kind of be more specific, right? And I think another one that we often use is, oh, would you like to finish your story? I think we use that phrase quite a lot.
And again, to be specific about where they were, oh, did you want to finish your story? You were just about to talk about this, or you just finished talking about this thing. And that just helps jog their memory of where they were or how much of the story they have told.
So speaking of summarizing what the other person had said and kind of help them to get back on track, you can also say, oh, so where were we? Oh, right. You're talking about this and that. What happened next?
Let's look at another situation where perhaps you can tell the person feels awkward or upset that they got cut off and that maybe no one is interested in their story because someone interrupted them. Then you can give a little bit of encouragement where you could say something like, I'm really interested in hearing more about what you were saying. Can you pick up where you left off?
I think this is a really nice one because a lot of times when we get interrupted, especially if we're in the junior positions, we feel a little bit of self-conscious, right? Kind of feel like, oh, maybe my story was not interesting, 或者我刚刚讲的是不是没有人很在乎? So if you give this person a little encouragement, 诶，你刚刚讲很有趣耶. I want to hear more about it. What happened next? I think these are really good encouraging prompt.
Another way that you could phrase this encouraging prompt is you say, oh, I remember you were talking about something really interesting before we got sidetracked. Or I was really excited about the next part. Or I really wanted to know about the next part before our conversation got interrupted. Can you please continue where you were?
I think this is really great. And I think we can also apply this in a situation where, sometimes a group of friends are talking and then someone else kind of walked into the middle of the conversation. 但是这个新加入的人可能并不知道之前的人在讲什么。So 你也可以帮助这个新加入的人可以做点 recap， 然后再让这个在讲话的人能够延续他的话题。So this is a place where you could also use that as well.
Anytime that you do these small recaps, it shows that you're really interested in the speaker and what they have to say. And as Sherry said, in the scenario that someone new walks into the conversation is like, oh, hey, what are you guys talking about? I didn't get the first part. Then you can simply be the person that recaps. Like, oh, Carol was telling us about her thoughts on Burberry's new logo transition back to very traditional and a few of the key things that make this effective or not effective. So sorry, Carol, you were just about to talk about the design change.
Right.
And then you let that person pick up even though you did the recap for them. But this shows you listened, it shows you're interested, and then you're looping more people into that conversation.
Yeah, and I think this is a really great way to social and also to do small talk. In a lot of these like small talk situation where you don't really know them, you kind of know someone, but then a group of them is talking and someone else kind of new walked in and you wanted to introduce this new person. 那你也可以用这个相同的做法。所以我们刚刚在讲什么？ We were just talking about this banking crisis that's happening this week. It's kind of crazy. And then Jenny was going to tell us about her own story. Kind of just use that as like introduction and carried on that small talk conversation.
As we talked about before, let's say someone cut the original speaker off. More than just helping them get back on track, a lot of times their confidence or how they feel about themselves or people's interest level has also taken a hit. So finding a way to do both, where you just show, okay, I really was listening. I really am interested in what you have to say. And then I'm going to help you pick up where you left off. These three pieces go a very long way to helping people feel better about what could be a very awkward or upsetting situation.
Right. And these are great if you wanted to be a good leader as well.
We hope you enjoyed this short and sweet episode on what to do to help someone who's been interrupted or someone who has lost their train of thought. Be sure to use these tips in the next conversation you have. We'll talk to you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.
The Executive Plus podcast is a Presentality Group production, produced and hosted by Sherry Fang and Nick Howard. You can search us on Facebook, 主管英文 Executive Plus. You can also find us on Instagram, Communication R&D, and email us at sherry@epstyleplus.com.